All right. Don't know that I. Let's see. Go back to edit this. Or I don't want to pause. The heck. Da, da, da. I just want to edit the scene. I don't want to edit. Let's see here. Oh, just a bit ago. So many things. So many things. Anyway, okay, so I've been doing some things. I've got my train station going. Got 2 trains that are automated and ready to go already going out. Started working on the 3rd setup. Our 3rd train changes. I have been doing some research. I've unlocked a few things. I have noticed, okay. I need to get those.
I'm back.
Come back. So, yeah, looking at what I need to do. Been working on, some alternate recipes. I picked up a bunch of the variety of, hard drives that are out there. So, have you seen my train station set up in my big gray building here? My stream station. I opted to have them come in one side and exit the other. I went to the double-ended trains where you have an engine on both ends, so that way it'll go forwards and backwards, and you don't have to do any reversing loops.
That's convenient.
And my train station setup, I went with one building. I have trains coming in from one side and going back out that same, then they go back out to that side. And then I have them coming in the other side, and I have it set up because of the way the train stations work. They have their input-outputs on specific sides. So essentially, since they're reversed, because trains come in one side or the other side, on one floor, like a train that comes in from the right and the train that comes in from the left, the way I have it set up is so all their input and outputs for the freight are like moving stuff off the freight all goes to the middle, so I can have a single area that will drop stuff down to the bottom floor.
Okay.
And I'm repeating that on the second. I have 2 floors current, and with the way they have things, I can easily keep going up and up if I need more and more trains. There was either they added more recipes, like with the alternate stuff, or because like I found some hard drives and I found some interesting new recipes. Normally they're just alternates, except this time with the way they have them set up, there's something called compacted coal, and you add in, basically you're taking coal and sulfur and making a new item with it.
Okay.
And then there is turbo fuel now as well. So again, you are taking the compacted coal and gasoline and making turbo fuel.
Because that just sounds like a wonderful combination.
Let's see what other recipes I've found recently that were, yeah, turbo fuel. Oh, there's an alternate black powder, which I think let's see, I think it requires compacted fuel. Yeah, it takes compacted coal instead of the standard just coal. And the reason I made sure to take that recipe is I have I need to get the I had the option to take, there's an alternate steel recipe where you take compacted coal and then iron to make the steel, and it's just standard steel. And the reason that would be good is then I have one node that is right next for coal that's not far from a sulfur node, and I could just make that turn all into compacted coal, and then part of it goes to my steel factory, and the rest of it can go be processed for other things. So if you're looking, this is my crazy mess of a base. First floor I had as basic production, so a lot of like iron plates, blah blah blah, stuff like that. Then the second floor I had the more advanced stuff being made, except I've opted to go another route. So like the train stations here, were you already watching when I showed you the middle section?
No, I walked in right about the time you were walking around the train station.
So this floor I plan on having being like storage and manipulating of inventories eventually, and then have it ship over to my factory, which will be over there. Then up here with the trains, I have these, like I said, I have it set up so the middle, I was fixing some changes I had done because this train had a reversing loop still in it and it kept reversing, and I had to fix some what was in what storage. Yeah, so this is my bauxite line. Well, quartz and aluminum. So I ship out coal or copper, which is in this car. Ship out the copper, and it goes all the way to the end. I'm like, since I had a copper node that I hadn't been using nearby, I just was like, well, I'll just take that copper and then send it to the bauxite area, and then have it processed into the aluminum sheets out there.
Okay.
Well, that way, I was like, I do a lot more processing at the facilities or at near nodes versus what I was doing. Before I was trying to ship it all in here, and I had these crazy lines of conveyors, which you can kind of see what's left over the top of the back there. I just got tired of it.
Yeah, seems like it would be really complicated after it got so large.
So this is coming from the steel plant going into the bottom of the train station here. I just wanted to bring it all together. There's steel, the two steel beams, steel pipes. What else is it? Copper, because the copper node's out that way. And then the top one is black powder, because we need black powder. Lots of.
Oh yeah.
I do really like these buggies that they put in.
That does look nice.
There is a truck, and I have a truck somewhere, but yeah. I used to have like that. The trucks are not as mobile or whatever. So this is my steel factory, and the copper line comes from that down below. And this is the black powder line that runs around the steel plant. But essentially, there were two iron nodes right here. I have that smelted into the iron ingots, and up above, I have the coal brought in and fed into these more advanced, like the foundry machines. Take the iron and coal to make the steel. And the coal nodes are just up on the hill. Which I have a sulfur node that's behind this place, which I'm feeding up here to make the black powder with, and the coal and the black powder. I'm like, well, since I'm already up here, like, I'll make some black powder with the sulfur, so I don't have to keep making it.
It's always nice to have that kind of thing automated.
I will probably, because of the compacted coal, since I already have this sulfur line here, and I have the coal here, I'll probably end up turning this into a compacted coal plant eventually. It's just, I want to get the steel, try to get that steel recipe to proc again. Because if I can get the steel to be made with the compacted coal, then I won't have to worry about raw coal ever again. Actually, here, I should alternate steel. No, that's still coal. But yeah, so I just need to go find more drop pods, which they're around. I haven't collected them all. I'm nowhere near collecting all of them yet. This goes down to my, down below is the, one of my many concrete factories. I make concrete factories about every place I find limestone anywhere near where I'm building.
Makes sense. Don't want to have to lug it around everywhere you go. Might as well make it on site.
Yeah, back there's where the sulfur plant, well, sulfur's being mined and sent up. This is my bridge across to the other side, because I didn't trust myself driving on something narrow.
Yeah, I can't really blame you on that.
Well, out here is also a bunch of oil nodes out here. I started setting them up. I was thinking about setting up this area kind of as an alternative place for more steel production and such. Up there you can kind of see the geyser. On top of the geysers I have set up two of the plants there. I think they're thermoelectric plants. Oh, yeah. But I was working on this area down here. I haven't done a whole lot. Because there's more coal here. I was hoping there'd be sulfur close, but when I was looking at the map, I don't think there's any sulfur that's actually that close to it. Though one benefit being out here is there is a bunch of drop pods that I haven't gotten to yet. All around, there's a lake here down in the middle. And I think because the lake is flat, I am likely going to build a lake base and have it all compiled, all the stuff around this area compiled into the lake base, and probably have a train station on the top. And yeah,
Yeah, it's a good way to link it to everything else.
So this is my future plans. Actually, on the far side of this lake area is I've actually found a really bizarre way of getting to the other side.
Uh-oh.
Well, I didn't realize I was actually doing a big circle-ish to the other side of this lake until like later I was looking, I'm like, and I'm essentially just on the other side of this lake. Or well, that biome with the lake.
Yeah, same difference.
And I actually built myself a spare train. Well, just the engines, just so I could go to the bauxite plant without having to drive out there. Or to take the entire big train.
So, did you find anything interesting on the other side of the lake?
There's more drop pods that's where I actually haven't gotten to those drop pods at all, which I'm hoping has a fair number of well, they'll each have a hard drive, but hopefully they won't be too hard to get, and maybe they'll have the recipe I'm looking for. So this was my intermediate train station when I was bringing in the aluminum. And I don't use the train station anymore, but I created a spur on the side of it that I park my engine while I go back and forth to work. That big tower is my radar tower, which is what gives me my map.
What does it give you?
Basically, anything I've explored shows up in the map.
Okay.
There's still quite a bit to go. Yeah. I need to change my options. Turn down the audio, or video, yeah, the audio, because let's see. Trains are loud. Yeah, trains are very loud. And as you can see, I've got all kinds of bridges that I've gone from tops of things or up and down, and yeah. The cave down there is going to be my next adventure because in there is a uranium node. And if I'm going to go to nuclear power, I need to tap that and start working on that.
Just make sure you have the plants that you need set up. Like I mentioned the other day, I have no clue how realistic they're going to want you to be with that.
I'm sorry, what? The trains are too.
I was just commenting on the fact that you want to make sure you've got cooling towers in the right places. Because I don't know if that will generate heat like it does in the real world.
I don't think it would be that. The problem with cooling towers would be, well, here with the way they have everything set up, the issue is all the radioactivity. It will actually deal damage to you, and so you have to be very careful with anything that has uranium. Walking up to the uranium mining node is fine. Once you put a miner on top of it and it starts processing, once it starts making the items of uranium, then you have radiation. So here's basically, I'm processing, like I have copper coming down from above, I have the silica being brought down, This is also, it can be transformed into the aluminum sheets, which that's what's being stored here. And then that's shipped up. So that's kind of why I like having the quartz nodes that I've like been mining. I have the train stop, pick up the silica and the quartz, and then it will take the quartz, drop it off at the main base, but brings the silica out here because the only thing silica is needed for is for the sheets. So I have it all brought out here to process, and that way then I only am bringing back the sheets. Yeah. And I don't have to transport bauxite or anything else. But down here is my node. Like, there's one bauxite miner there, another one here. Went ahead and put a Mark III on this one. And it will do 300 with it. I have it clocked all the way up. But it'll do 300 a minute. There is yet another. Yeah, I found a, once again, limestone node. So what did I do? I created a small little concrete factory out here.
Why not? Might as well have it all on site.
Well, I was just like, oh, well, there's limestone here. I need some concrete to build this behemoth, and so I built it. So getting this cleared was a pain. The monsters that were down here were the larger of the ones that shoot the green fire at you, and yeah. And I leave this, yeah, I have one of the buggies out here. I just leave it out here for when I come out here to explore, travel. But yeah, this is actually quite an interesting area out here. I was going to try to get to, I'll go for there is a copper node really not that far from where this all is. The problem is getting to it. And the fact that I'm willing to ship copper all the way from the main base back tells you how much of a pain in the butt it is. Because copper. Trigger the copper thing. It will ping. So yeah, it's right there, 346 meters away. So not really all that far. I mean, it's pretty much right where my cursor's pointing at.
Yeah, but you gotta build a means by which to get it back over to the area.
Oh no, it's that swamp. It's in a swamp. That swamp is filled with monsters, spiders, and all kinds of crap. And poisonous gas things, and it just became, I was just like, screw this.
Nope.
As I got down there, started exploring, and I was just like, I just got inundated by spider creatures, and I was like, I'm done. I'll get there eventually. I'm not going to get there now. I do find it interesting, some of the biomes over that way, the way it looks. Kind of want to go that way. But if you really look at where I'm at on the map, so here's that lake that I said I have a setup on the south end of the lake. But I'm literally just on the other side of the lake from where I was. Like, I'm not that far. So I basically went all the way around.
Well then.
Benefit of trains is I got a fast way to get back. Why I just have one engine right now on the line that I've been using to run back and forth. There is no technical collision with other trains. So when I start the other one, technically I could run on the same line. and not care, but I don't want to keep doing that.
Yeah, that would get kind of weird looking.
Well, I kind of would like to. I would sure eventually they're going to add collisions and stuff like that for the trains, but yeah. Oh yeah, here's my deforestation. You can see that it was all dense forest on the green sections, and I just completely chopped down everything just to get the train through.
Will that cause long-lasting issues to the area? Are they that developed?
They haven't instituted anything like Factorio that cared about, like, greenery and toxic gases and stuff like that. I'm trying to decide what I want to do for handling the nuclear waste, because you actually have to worry about that. Because wherever you put it's going to become irradiated and not fun to be around.
Well, don't dump it in the water. Do they have lead in this?
No,
Dang.
I'm not gonna stop in time. Yeah, here's the other funny. That's the other funny thing. You can full throttle hit the end of the line and it won't be a problem. So they did add in the brakes. Before they did that, there were no brakes on the. Well, I should say when you stopped a train on a line, it didn't stop. Once you got out, it would just start rolling downhill if it was on a hill. Now you can actually stop it on a hill and it's not a big problem.
Well, I was gonna say, if they have lead, it wouldn't be too big of an issue.
There. So that's my double main line. I stacked them because I figured stacking it would be easier. And I put a walkway underneath if I ever wanted to walk it. There was a coal node out here, which I put my coal power plant there. Because why why transport the coal? I might, if I can. I need to get coal, some more sulfur, really. My copper is being processed down there. This is my first test of playing with train stations up here.
Experimentation's always good.
I had a pretty massive main line coming back over there on the other side, which I will show you probably more if I can get this. I think I can. That is a Catorium line that I have set up. It has another Catorium line on the other So this one I have underneath. I set up this entire massive plant to process all the wire and stuff. I have it loading 2 cars here. The other station loads the other 2 cars. There's one of my trucks I leave out here just in case. Whenever I come out here and want to explore.
Exploration's always fun.
Another one of my concrete plants. Finally remove this. Original test that I did. Before I started doing the trains a little bit more organized. before I did the trains out here, I actually had that truck running back and forth on this bridge, and it was taking all the oil back to. I had a truck depot at the other end, and it fed into the main line that was with the Catorium and stuff. Basically, if you don't know, Catorium's kind of like gold in this game, and you can make spools of wire with it. It's that the Catorium wire, it's like high-speed wire, and that wire is required for the computers and stuff like that. So it's essentially gold. That is my fuel power plant. There are like 4 floors. It's right sitting on top of a but it's sitting on top of one of the oil deposits that I have just set up to turn. It only makes fuel, gasoline, essentially. There are others here, like there's one over there. That one's making the gasoline too. Oh yeah, the one fuel thing is only making fuel for the power plant. That's all I cared about when I was setting it up. Because I wanted to make sure I had enough fuel that I could keep my fuel plants running constantly. The fuel that's on the line that runs over my head here comes from a node in that little building there, which it is sending it back on the trains. Up here is also a variety of, like, the plastic and rubber is being processed from 2 more of the nodes here. There are like 4 nodes total, so I figured one being for the fuel power plant and one for sending fuel back was enough. But yeah, I'm all over the map here.
Well, that's what a game like this is for.
There is still a lot of exploration to do. There are caves in this cliff face all over the place, and pathways, and like I took most of like a day running through, and I found all kinds of slugs in there, and yeah. That's pretty much my main setup. Now, with this being being here with the fuel, I kind of want to have. I need to try to find sulfur somewhere close by and bring it in. I don't.
Have you looked to ping to see if there's anything nearby?
I don't know that there is. I know there's some coal not too far. Sulfur is probably one of the more rare items. I do like that it puts it on the map. So like even though I haven't explored it, it shows me, hey, there's a sulfur node in there. There's one not far apparently from my radar tower. Being that there's one there by the radar tower, I can't remember if I have my cursor shown. Okay, you can see the cursor one at least. So there's a sulfur node there. There are in this rough area a bunch of coal. So I could technically create a train that runs through here, pick us up the coal, brings it out here to the yeah. Because I'm all about processing before shipping.
That makes sense.
So if I bring in the coal and the sulfur out to here, Or heck, even if I bring in the sulfur to the coal place, compact all that coal before shipping it out to here, could probably get away with a small train instead of a big train. Anyway, I get back to my base area, I'm probably go dinner time here shortly.
Okay.
I really like this game. There's a lot you can do with it. A lot of exploration. Um, there are some tweaks I think they need to make yet, but I mean it's still a work in process. I mean that's why it's early access. One thing I would love to have is a triangle foundation instead of just having the squares. If you had like one that was a triangle, like a 45, you know, so you could start getting angles on stuff. I think it would be kind of neat that you could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the other Catorium node off the edge of that. Kind of like it they made these buggies that you can run over those rocks if you hit them with the wheels.
That's nice to have some off-road capabilities.
Yeah, you could kind of see on the far side there the train station for the other Catorium node. Just on the other side of, yeah, out there. I didn't initially have the line go straight through, but I was, before they made some tweaks in a recent minor update, I was having a problem doing a 3-stop setup on one line. It would always want to skip one of them, and then it would get confused on which, like, oh, I can't go there because that's the wrong direction for me.
Oh, that's fun.
So I ended up creating a way that I, with the logic that they had currently, that would work. So my second line, the bauxite one, it was working fine when I had it set up with 3. So I think they fixed it. Anyway, that's gonna be it on the stream. So cutting that now.